Welcome to Lancashire Business Stories, the podcast that does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm your host, Paul Lim, and every week we're joined by local business owners to talk about their journey into business and how they've grown and scaled their own organisations. We'll talk about some of the challenges they've faced along the way and the successes that they've had in growing their businesses, so you, our listeners and viewers, can learn and apply those same principles into your own business, so you can grow and succeed. If this is the first time that you've watched or listened to the podcast, please hit the subscribe or follow button. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let's get to it. Darren Hutchinson, welcome to Lancashire Business Stories.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
It's an absolute pleasure. We're going to talk about your business and what you do, and maybe a few top tips for people who are out there who might be handling camera equipment. But I just want to start, as we always do, just with a bit of background on Darren and where you came from and how you ended up doing what you're doing now. So do you want to take us through a little bit of a journey from maybe when you left education, when you started out, and how you ended up becoming a business owner yourself?
It's a good story. I've told this a few times. It's a story that I'm quite proud to tell. You mentioned their education. Unfortunately, my education have absolutely nothing to do with what I'm currently doing. I'm one of those people that went to school and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Yeah. I thought it was kind of sciencey. I thought it was maybe marine biology was one thing that I fancied doing. And I left school with A-levels in biology, chemistry, physics, and a BTEC in ecology.
You were going to be the next David Attenborough?
I don't know what I was going to be, to be honest, Paul. I wasn't entirely sure. But what I did realise is I got a place at university to do marine biology, and there was the one thing that one of the tutors who was leading the open days. Yeah. He said one of the stupidest things he could have ever have said, really, when with these people, these young sort of 18-year-olds that are wanting to get in, and he said, well, chances of getting a job with this probably about 4 or 5% on the end of it. And I remember at that point thinking, that's not me, because I don't have 95% commitment to this. One of the other people here is going to get that job or those jobs. So at that point, I just thought, this is not right. And I wandered around for a few years just doing random jobs. I was actually a DJ, not club DJ, but a party DJ. So I set up my first business when it would have been 1992, when I was 18, with a friend of mine called Sound Express. Wow. And that went on for about...
Just doing birthdays and weddings?
Yeah, just I also used to have the residency in Yates's on a Friday night in Rochdale, and we had the Thursday night residency in Halifax for a little while as well. So I was quite busy with that, but it was just supplementing the rest of my life. I had a few jobs, and eventually I got a job in a furniture shop in the late 90s, and then worked in furniture shops for quite a while, and worked my way up to the dizzy heights of manager of furniture shop.
Selling sofas?
Yeah, it was beds. It was more like pine. It was a company called Durham Pine. I don't know if they're still around. But it was like pine wardrobes, beds, things like that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that at all. But the thing that really got me was the boredom. Because you get 4 or 5 people in a day, and the rest of the time you just sat around doing nothing.
You had somewhere comfy to sit.
Yeah, and a good few beds to have a lie down if I could sneak a few. But it got to the point whereas... at the turn of the millennium, and it's probably a little bit of a cliche when I realised that I need to do something about this. And it coincided with the point where my boss at the time did me a real favour by ripping me off a lot of commission that I should have earned. We had a rule whereas it was worked out on the Fridays in the month, whatever it was. It should have been 800 quid. Ended up being 300 quid because he managed to move one of those Fridays into the January or the other way around to make it less, And the line that he told me, and I'll never forget the line, is he looked at me and he went, Darren, 300 quid's still a lot of money. And I won't say what I thought on this very polite professional broadcast, but that night I went home to my fiancée in our rented house, drove there in my car, and there's a reason why I'm saying that, by the way. And I just thought, no, I'm not doing this anymore. So I just handed my notice in. I gave myself 3 weeks' notice. And in that 3 weeks... roundabout, I also got rid of my fiancée, my car, my house on purpose because I realised I'd made an absolute mess of my life. Yeah. She was a lovely girl, nothing wrong with her, but it wasn't right. We weren't right. The house was not right. Nothing was right. So I moved in with my parents at 25, in the year 2000, start of the year 2000. And I'd always had this dream that I wanted to work in TV. I'd even wrote to the BBC when I was like 10 or 11 or something. I got a reply back. I think it was watching things like Treasure Hunt, with Annika Rice.
Annika Rice,
yeah, and stuff.
Jumping out the helicopter.
Yeah, and I didn't want to present. I just wanted to work in it. I wanted to be making it and doing stuff. I always found it quite exciting. And I remember writing to the BBC at a young age, and them then saying to me, "Thanks for your interest, but maybe do this, maybe do that." And I just left it. And it was at this point at the turn of the millennium that I thought, you know what? Let's just chase this dream, because what else am I doing? There's nothing else to do. So because I was DJing, I also had a radio show in Rochdale Hospital Radio, Birch Radio. And there was a friend of mine, a co-presenter there, that worked at Granada. And he gave me the name and number of the girl who headed up personnel, what was personnel back then before it was HR. And that's all I had, right? I literally had a phone number and a name.
Yeah. And
I rang her up. And
do you remember her name?
I do, yeah. It was, I'm not going to say it, but I do, and I know exactly who it is. She was the daughter of a famous person.
All right.
And so I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to put her into something that she may not want to be in. But I didn't know this at the time. I just knew who she was. And I rang her, and she quite rightfully was like, "Oh, that's nice, Darren. What qualifications do you have?" And I'm like, "None."
None.
"What experience do you have?"
None.
"None." "All right, thanks a lot. See you later." So I thought, I'll just ring her again the day after. And this went on for quite a while, and for a good few weeks. And I wasn't annoying with it. I wasn't pushy with it. I was just a little bit cheeky. And it got to the point where, as one day I said, "You've got a decision to make now." I said, "You either let me come in for an interview just for 10 minutes tomorrow, right, or I'm just going to ring you every day forever." I said, "It's entirely up to you." I said, "But that's what's going to happen." So she said, "All right, come on in, we'll have a talk to you."
See, there's a lesson there, though. Persistence often pays off. If you're really... Because you said you weren't 95% in on your other stuff.
Yes.
You were 100% in on this. And I think if you've got that persistence in anything that you're doing, you'll get somewhere with it in the end.
I totally agree. But you've got to really want it, haven't you? It's not the kind of thing that you can just go... Because if you're not truly into something, your whole body doesn't get behind you, does it really, yeah? No. But every bit of me was behind me on this. And that, when I went in for that interview, I think it was on the Thursday, it went from that 10-minute interview for the first 5 minutes of me just being manic and just being like, "I can do this, and I do it, and I've got this idea for this, and I want to do this, and I want to do that." And then the last 5 minutes was her going, "All right, yeah, let's do this. I can see that you're going to be a benefit to us." And this is a department of Granada at the time. It was called Satellite and Channels. And it was at a point where satellite TV was getting big. There were spaces on TV that needed filling. It was a hungry beast. Yeah. There were about 260 people working in this department at the time at Granada. So there was space for me to get a little bit lost in it, and there was space to just go, all right. So they gave me 4 weeks work experience, which is unpaid, which, I mean, some people have an issue with this, but at the time, I think if you get the opportunity to have 4 weeks just doing something, I think if I didn't have that opportunity, I'd never have got in the first place.
If it's 4 weeks doing something you love, you'd pay them to do it, wouldn't you?
Completely. Yeah, and to be honest, when I did get paid, the pay was terrible anyway. So it didn't really make a great difference which one I was on. So I then just started on the ground, but because I was somebody that had done real life before this and had real jobs, I already understood how brilliant it was and what great opportunity it was. So I was already way more enthusiastic and way more helpful and way more keen than all the rest of the people that were coming in, because a lot of them were coming straight from college or with a degree. Yeah. And I hate to say this, but it's very true. They came in with the attitude of, well, I know all of this. Oh, I'm not doing that. That's a bit below me. Yeah, I should really be doing this. And they came in with a totally different attitude from somebody that's like, God, this is amazing. Like, I'll clean the floor over there. I don't care. That's fine.
There's a great book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
I've read it.
And there's a segment in there about a young guy who goes to work for somebody. And it's all about going the extra mile and going above and beyond the call of duty and doing all the stuff that nobody else wants to do. And that's just a typical example from that. We give that excerpt to all of our potential applicants. So whenever we're working with a client on the recruitment process, part of that is to get them to come in and do a discovery session with us. Yeah. And we always give them that excerpt from Think and Grow Rich in advance and then ask for their feedback on what they think about it. And you get a variety of different sort of ideas and thoughts on it coming back, and it tells you a lot about somebody in terms of what they think about that passage. And what you've just said is typical of that. What's better, having somebody who's got very little experience and has got a thirst for knowledge and will go the extra mile all the time, or somebody who thinks he knows what they're doing and maybe not toxic, but just has got a bit of an attitude. So I know which one I prefer.
Completely. And I was the one that everybody else preferred as well. Understandably, I'd be the person that if there was somebody like coming at me, I'd be like, they're the one.
So you were like, was it like a runner kind of job that you were doing?
I started as a runner. I started literally just moving things. We had a number of shows going off at the time, and there were 3 live shows a week. There was Lifetime, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We had a health Lifetime, a psychic Lifetime, and I can't remember the last now. But we had those on the go, so there were always things being made. We had the Granada Breeze, Men and Motors, Man United TV, the Wellbeing Channel, which Boots owned for a time until they binned that off. But there was all these things that were just constantly needing stuff. So there were studios constantly being, and there were things always needed to be done. I think on my second day, I found myself in a meeting with the producers and the presenters of this quiz show that they were talking about making. And I'm just like, a couple of months ago, I was just sat selling furniture to people. How am I in a meeting?
You must have thought all your Christmases had come at once.
I was, and there have been a number, like many of these moments in my career where I'm just like, how am I here? Right, this is insane. But at that point, when I got that work experience, I realised that was finite. And I realised that after 4 weeks, I was going to be stuck. So I immediately started to find who was on holiday and then go into personnel and say, I'll do their job if you pay me whilst they're on holiday. And luckily, they were like, all right, okay. No one's ever said this to us before, but okay, that makes sense. Yeah, fine. So I managed to do lots of different jobs. Excuse me. I managed to just go from different departments doing different bits of the same job. So I learned the whole thing. And eventually, when that ran out, personnel came to me and they said, I'm sorry, Darren, but we've not got anything left. You're going to have to go. And I said, no, because I only ever did 1 week of my work experience. I've still got 3 left. And they were like, oh, fair point. Yes, you do. So I then, excuse me again, I then used that 3 weeks to try and find myself a full-time job. The ending of the story is that on the very last day, I got an interview for Manchester United TV that Granada used to make content for them. Right. And I'm not a massive football fan, to be honest. It's not a big thing. But I was just like, I'll do anything or whatever. Yeah. And I went in, and apparently, and one of the people that interviewed was a guy called Mark and a guy called Richard. Richard's still one of my good friends right now. He was the head producer of the channel. And he said to me on the night out afterwards, when we were all just having a drink, and I'm like, this could be my last night ever in this industry. He came up to me because he was just coincidentally out having a drink with everyone else, and he said, I shouldn't really tell you this, but you've got the job. And he said, the reason why you've got the job is, he said, because we just couldn't understand you in any way at all. You just came in, you didn't even wait to be called in. We were just sat there. You just walked in and sat down and then just started talking about these things that you wanted to do. And we're like, we've never seen anyone like this before, because they all just come in and they do the set piece. Yeah. And they were like, we don't know who you are or anything about you, but we don't want to let you go. So that was the point when I got a full-time job. And I've never left the industry since.
There's a lot of lessons there for young people nowadays who are looking to try and get into a career that they really love and really want to do.
Yeah.
Love that. So was that a camera kind of role? Or
no, it was production. I didn't really pick up a camera until I set up my own business, to be honest. No, that's not true, because we had to go out filming our own stuff. Yeah. But it was more like just whatever you shoot is good enough kind of level. It wasn't training on how to use the cameras. It was very much, we've got this much stuff to fill.
Yeah.
Here are some cameras, just press that button and it works. And you'd learn it on the job, but I never really learned how to use a camera properly until I started on my own, when I actually had to.
Yeah.
And that was a whole different part. But I was mostly just production and putting things together.
So how long were you with MUTV for?
So with MUTV, so I was still Granada, and we were making a show called Reds at 5, which was 5 o'clock, it was live, and I was there for about 3 years, I think. And this show ended up having its budget slashed in halfway through, which was really good news for me, because it meant they had to get rid of the studio set. It meant that they weren't always live. They had to get rid of the presenters, which meant that internally we had to work out how to make this show, and we had to make it new and different. So the way we decided to do it was one of our production team, a guy called Andrew McHugh, who I'm still working with now, and we're still bringing this thing back that I'm about to talk about. We decided that it's going to be, you can present it, and we need a co-presenter, but the co-presenter's a puppet.
Yeah.
And we had this idea, but then the heads of the channel went, we want you to do that, Darren. We want you to be the puppet. So I don't even know, 300-400 episodes as a puppet co.
With you sat under a desk like that?
We were either in a box or behind a sofa. We went everywhere. We went to Amsterdam with it. We did the Amsterdam halftime off-season, summer tours that they do.
And did you adapt to different persona while you were doing this?
You know what I do, because he talks a bit like that. He's a guy called Redford, and I can't really do him unless I'm wearing him on my hand. But he's got he's very naive, very soft-spoken. Yeah. It's funny because we're actually bringing this show back later this year or the start of next year. It's hard because Andrew, whose nickname is Barney, anyway, he lives in London, so it's really difficult for us to get together. So I then became the presenter, and the first ever show that we had was with Keith Harris and Orville. And the point was that Redford, the puppet, was Orville's friend, but he wanted to stay here. Yeah. And the very first thing that I remember doing was completely forgetting to open his mouth when he spoke. And I remember being in the box going, oh, no. You don't get to, as it was live, you don't get to do that one again, Darren. But many hundreds of episodes later, we got really good at it, and we ended up just being able, we could just do half an hour without any script or any prompting or anything every day. We could turn up and do half an hour of a new show. Yeah. And that was a fantastic learning curve. Another point when you're like, I'm just furniture shop. This is weird.
So still with Granada at that point?
Yes.
Where are we at in the timeline now? We're mid-2000s?
No, so I was only at ITV Granada for 3 years in total. At the end of 2002, so this is 2000, 2001, 2002, those full 3 years. At the end of 2002, we all got made redundant because I said it was 260 people. By the time I left that department, there was 16 left. Wow. It was just, the point was that satellite channels were taken off, everything was polarised, there was no budgets for anything, and they were just cutting. It was also good to mention on a business podcast how terrible ITV were as an actual business. They were, and I don't mind saying that on record, because, and here's my proof, is the fact that at this time, it was mainly run by accountants. And do you know what those accountants, do you know two businesses that were going around at the time that they decided to buy, that they thought were going to be the future of everything? Go on. Friends Reunited and Ask Jeeves. They bought them both, and they both immediately tanked as soon as they bought them. Which meant that all of the money just dried up and went, and they just shut everything down, which was good news for me, because I didn't know what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this, but I couldn't do it anymore because my job had gone. So I had to set up on my own, and I had to then just use all of the people that were brilliant around me, and I started my own company with a girl called Sarah, and we were partners at the time, not as in business partners. Yeah. Her husband is actually now the director of photography on Traitors. So wow. Matt Wright. Hello, Matt. And I don't remember giving Matt his first chance on camera as well. You're welcome. But digress. So what we had then is we had people, but we had all of these channels that were still going. Yeah. They just didn't have this Granada production hub to make them anymore. So I then just reached out to the channels and went, we'll make your shows for you. We're just called Dreamscope. Yeah. But it's the same people, the same stuff. Yeah. And luckily, they were just like, all right. Yeah. And I'm like, this is easy, running a business, isn't it?
And that's the route for it. If you watch TV now, it's all made by outside production companies, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah.
So you were at the forefront of that.
Yeah. So starting up Dreamscope early 2003, we started just with TV shows. We didn't do any promotional work at all. We were just TV constantly. And we used to do regional programming for ITV, which was a thing back then. We did stuff for the History Channel and Crime and Investigation Network and other channels that we did bits and bobs for. But eventually that got harder and harder to get. There were fewer and fewer opportunities, and we realised that we had to go into the kind of promotion. A lot of people use the word corporate. I don't like the word corporate. It makes me think of a video of a middle-aged white guy, like maybe us, just sat behind a desk with a suit on, just talking into the camera. That's my interpretation of the word corporate, so I try not to use it. So it got us into promotional videos for companies. And once again, another lucky break was that in 2004, the University of Manchester merged from Victoria and UMIST, they merged together. And they needed somebody to create all the videos. So they asked Granada, because heads talk, oh yeah, we'll do it. Granada are like, we can't do it. And it got down to one department, and they just said, we're going to have to outsource this. They went, Darren, would you just take all this work on? Like the whole lot. Please. And I'm like, yeah, of course we will. So once again, another lucky break.
Yeah.
But, which sounds like silver spoon kind of thing. Yeah. But that was my last lucky break. After that, it got very difficult. Yeah.
When did Most Haunted come along?
Most Haunted. So I've been on Most Haunted since 2013. So the story behind that is that in 2006 or 7 or something like that, I produced and wrote and directed a documentary for the History Channel about an executioner called Albert Pierpoint, who was a prolific executioner in the UK from the 30s. He did all the war criminals in Bergen, etc., and a few of the others, all the way through to the 50s. I think he finished in the 50s or whatever. Don't quote me on that, but I remember the stats at the time. But we made this documentary and put it out on the History Channel. And Karl Beattie, who is Yvette Fielding's husband, Karl owns Most Haunted, he is Most Haunted, he is Antics Productions. They were just finishing the living TV Most Haunted at the time. And legend has it that he watched this show and was really annoyed because it's a show that he's always wanted to make, because he has a massive fascination with execution paraphernalia. He's got loads of stuff about it. He's quite interested in that dark kind of weird stuff. So he was going around the offices, which were in Stockport at the time, the Most Haunted offices, just blimmin' out, this some guy's made this stupid. And the good news is he was like, it's really good. He wasn't saying that it was bad. He was just annoyed because
he hadn't done it.
I wanted to make that, and someone's beat me to it. Yeah. And one of the guys was my friend Paul, who worked with him at the time as an editor. And Paul just went, "Oh, Darren made that." And he said, "Can I meet him?" And he says, "Yeah, I'll just give him a ring." So I just went down to meet with him in their offices, and we just hit it off then. So this is, I don't know, late 2000s. Coincidentally, I used to work with Yvette Fielding at Granada, and I used to work with Derek Acora at Granada, which is where Yvette and Derek met on Psychic Lifetime, which is one of the shows that we used to make. But it has absolutely nothing to do with my story of Most Haunted. It's just a coincidence that we did that at the time as well. And Yvette doesn't even remember me from that, because I was just a runner. There were loads of them, so why would you? So from there, we then just started writing TV shows, pitching stuff to different people. And Most Haunted had been decommissioned by Living. It wasn't on the air. And it had, I think, a 4-year break or something. I can't remember. And then cut a few years ahead, Dreamscope, my company, we've got offices at Media City. Karl has an office at Media City because we all wanted to work together. So he got his own office, we got our own office. And we just worked together on stuff. And then it was like, we should just bring Most Haunted back. And he's wanted to do for a while, and it's been long enough. It's been off the TV for a little while. Let's just bring it back. But there were no buyers for it at all. Nobody wanted it for TV. So we just said, let's just make it, and we'll just put it on YouTube and just see if we can do it. So we filmed the first one in 2013, the first one of the new season, and these are the first ones that Karl has the rights to, because the original ones are owned by Sky and Living together, UK TV. So we went to the Royal Court Theatre in Bacup, and he didn't have any of the night vision cameras. So we filmed them on my GoPros with torches sellotaped to the top of them. Wow. Because there was no money to buy cameras. There's nobody's buying it. We just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So we made this one episode that turned into 3 episodes. And that was another one of those moments when I just looked around and had to pinch myself a bit. Because I did sound for that. Because they had a camera guy that they'd used before. I just do anything. I can do every bit of the job, so it doesn't matter. So I just did sound. And I remember them just doing a Ouija board and me just holding the boom over. And I just looked over and I went, I'm doing sound for Most Haunted. I used to watch this show religiously. I'm like, and I'm in it.
Living your best life.
I'm in it. How am I in this? And still to this day, it's just quite bizarre. But once we did that, we put it out on YouTube, and immediately the TV channels were then going, oh, you know what, I was interested in this. Really part of UK TV. Anyway, Separate got together, different channel. They then commissioned a run of it, which meant that we were then back going again, which meant I was the sound guy, Most Haunted. I'm not really a sound guy. I was because I could plug myself into there and do something, and they needed someone on sound. And I'd done sound before. My very first. This is one of my funny stories. My very first time of doing sound was on the behind the scenes for BBC's Robin Hood, when they filmed that in Budapest. In the woods, there was like the woods, and they had studio sets in the woods outside Budapest. And I went down with Matt, DOP of Traitors. If you were still watching, it all ties up this. The DOP of Traitors now. So me and Matt went to Hungary, and he was on camera and I was on sound. And the very first time when I was there, I was holding the boom, and the only reason why I was there, by the way, is because we got given this gig through networking that I've been doing by talking to people. But that would mean that I just have to sit at home and send a camera and a sound guy, and I'm not doing that. Yeah. I've got this. I'm blooming going. But there wasn't a space for me just as a producer, a production manager kind of thing.
So I'll just go and be the sound guy.
So I just kind of, all right, I'll just figure this out at the time. And I remember the very first thing that I did is I had the boom pointed to the like filming like taking the sound from the planes instead of the people. And Matt, bless him, he just looked at me and he just put his arm over and he just turned it for me. And I just looked at him and went, gave him a little nod. And then we just carried on. And from that point on, I really learned how to do sound. But luckily no harm was done in it. No. So then I became the sound guy on Most Haunted.
And Dreamscope's carried on growing over that time?
Yeah, Dreamscope's always been there, yes. Yeah, the business, the brand Dreamscope has been going since the start of 2003. Everything that I do is through the Dreamscope, through my company. We had a blip in 2018, I know we're jumping ahead a bit, where we had to go into insolvency. And I had to set up another company on the side and just move things legitimately using the accountants and the people that know what they're doing. We had to ditch everything from there, move it into there and keep on going, which was a horrible time in my life. But yeah, Dreamscope's always been there. It's still there. It's still the root of everything that we do. Yeah.
So you're still doing Most Haunted now. You're still doing Dreamscope. You're still doing promotional videos for organisations and businesses, not corporate.
Yes. Yeah.
And you strike me as probably one of the happiest and most contented people I ever come across. Whenever I speak to you,
thank you.
It's just, everything's fine. Yeah, everything's good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, everything's fine. Is that just something that's ingrained into you, or are you just in a really happy place?
It is not something that's ingrained into me at all. And it probably takes us back to what I've just mentioned there, the 2018 issue, which nearly broke me. It really nearly broke me. It was possibly one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Essentially, we were just hemorrhaging cash. I had 5 members of staff. We had a massive office. And the work wasn't coming in. I'd made a bad call on somebody that I brought in that turned out to be somebody that didn't fit. Yeah. And I had to pull the plug, but I had to pull the plug too late once I'd already financed it myself to try and keep things going. Because my kind of knowledge of this was 2008, 10 years ago, 10 years prior to that, when the recession happened in 2009. 2008, we were turning over about £250,000. 2009, we did 12 grand.
Wow.
Because the bottom fell out of everything. Yeah. So in the back of my head, I'm like, I survived that, so I can survive this, which is why I personally
head down, keep going and
powered through. Yeah. But it didn't work. and some of the most wonderful people that I worked with at the time. We had 5 people, including myself. 3 of those people are people that I still work with to this day.
Yeah.
Just wonderful people. In fact, one of them, Louise, who worked for me, she is now head of content in another company. So she hires me. So she pays me now, which is easier. But talking about happiness and being content has only happened since I've got on the top of that. Because what I did is I just cut everything out and I went back to being me. Because at that time I was a manager. I was managing staff. I was managing projects. I wasn't doing the job. I was just being a guy that just looks after a business. And that's not what I want to do.
No.
It's not in any way what I set out to do. It just ended up happening. And because you love these people that work for you, they always got paid more than I did. They always got paid before I did. And having to let those people down was incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So when I came out of this, 2019, when I had to go to court to get the Dreamscope name registered for me and my new company, and we won everything and everything was fine. I said legitimately everything totally above board. And once I'd done that, I just breathed a sigh of relief. And I know what you do, and I know your business is kind of growth and is kind of getting businesses to boom, but it's completely the opposite of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because what I just want to do is have fun, right? I just want to mess about with stupid stuff and do silly things with good clients.
Yeah.
I don't actually want to get to that point anymore because I wasn't that happy.
No.
Yeah.
And look, for me, yes, traditionally we'll look at business growth for people. But ultimately, it's always about how the business can contribute to your life, not you giving your life to the business.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's just having a little bit more time, having a little bit more money to do the things that they love doing. And we've got situations where we've had clients who had gone from having fun doing what they're really brilliant at doing, in your case, being involved in production and filming and sound and whatever, to ending up being the MD of the company and running the business rather than doing what they love doing.
Yeah.
And we've had situations where we've said to those business owners, and they've said, I hate this. Yeah. Really hate doing this. Yeah, really hate it. I could walk away from it now. And they've just said, why don't you appoint a CEO? Why don't you appoint an MD for your business and go back to what you love doing? Yeah. We've got a case of that over in the States as a marketing company. It's grown into 8 figures, above 10 million. And he'd done a fantastic job of getting it there, but he hated it. His passion was photography. And so his coach at the time said, why don't you just go and be director of photography or creative director and get somebody else to run the business? He went, can I do that? And he went, of course you can. Get somebody who's great at running a business to run the business. You go back at being great at what you enjoy doing and do really well. They've grown that business to 9 figures now. Yeah. And he's doing what he loves doing. He happens to own the company as well. But they've got somebody else who's running it on a day-to-day basis and making those decisions and keeping their eye on the kind of stuff they need to do while he's focused on what he loves doing. Yeah. It's not for everybody. That makes sense. And I would say, whatever you're doing, if you love doing what you're doing and you're happy and content, then more power to your elbow. Yeah. Because that's where you need to be. Just love what you do. And that's why I always enjoy talking to you, Darren, because you obviously love what you do. And, yes, you're in a good play. Different courses for different horses. Absolutely, yeah, it is. It is just about pinpointing what you love and just trying to make everything work around that. I think. So you work now. So I assume you'll use associates, subcontractors when you need more people on a shoot or whatever when you're doing stuff, and you're the man behind Dreamscope now. That's right. Yeah. So now it is me. I work from home. All the money that we make just goes in my pocket. It's lovely. and the tax man, of course. Some for the tax man. Of course, yes. But then I do have my freelancers and I have my suppliers and people. Yeah. It's just so you've still got a team. It just happens to be a team out of an outsourced and it's the same team. And it's more flexible. Yeah, yeah. They just do their own thing, and I just bring them in when I need them, and it's perfect. It's the absolute perfect scenario for me. Because, for example, in January, February, March this year, I think I worked about 3 days. If I'd have all the financial pressure of that, I would have been totally stressed out. But I'm not. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. He'll come back. And now I'm working. I think I've had 3 days off now in the past couple of months. You were saying before we came on, you were manic at the moment. Yeah, and it just happens like that. Yeah, so I've just learned to ride it. It's not an issue. Yeah, I'm going to say thanks for coming, taking the time to come in here and talk to us. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah. So you're an expert at what you do. Let's talk about what business owners can do to improve their visibility by doing some of the stuff that you do regularly for other people.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not quite at the stage where they can invest in your services, but they just want to get started doing something. I know you do loads of stuff on socials just with your little mobile phone camera and doing stuff like that. So if you had some top tips for business owners to get out there and start filming and doing stuff, and tip number one for me is just get started. Just do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do 25 takes. I'm the world's worst when I'm doing the intros for this. I'll do it. Sian will know that she laughs at me all the time in the background because I'll do 25 different takes before I get a 30-second intro for the next episode. So what are some great tips that you can give people who just want to get started?
The first tip that I can give you, and this is not a self-promotional thing, but is to give me a ring. Because one of the things that I do is I just help people with no budget. I will just I will listen to what you're trying to do, tell you how to do it yourself, and send you on your way to do it without any kind of method of trying to put you into some kind of sales funnel or what have you. And I do this for hundreds of people, right? And I say that because I genuinely am here to help people. But the thing that people should be doing is, as you say, pick your phone up, make something. If you're struggling with what to think of to make, which is what most people do, they're like, I have no idea, I don't know what to talk about. That's half of it. The other one is, I don't like seeing myself, I don't like doing this. You're just going to have to get over that. If you're running a business, everyone's looking at you anyway. You're talking, you're meeting people. It's no real difference. It's just having that sort of tenacity to just go, I'm going to pick this up and do it. So if you're struggling for content, the best thing to do is, what do your clients and customers ask you the most? What are the questions that they're constantly asking you? What are the things that your product or service does that are different? What tips can you give to people to use the things that you do? And just write all of these things down as one line or a word or a couple of sentences. And each one of those little things is an individual video.
Yeah.
Just make a 30-second video going, oh, people ask me this all the time. I'll just answer that question.
Yeah.
And you start off with your first 3 seconds of something interesting. Start off by saying, by doing this, you can enhance this by this. Yeah. Or something that people are just going to stop and go, oh, all right, I'll give you a chance. I'm half intrigued with that.
Have a great hook.
Yes, a good hook. Whatever you're talking about, excuse me, yeah. Whatever you're thinking of talking about, pick the best little bit out of that and then start with that.
Yeah.
And then just talk about that one thing and then finish.
Yeah.
And the best way to finish is by having your end line in your head. So the last line that you're going to say is the only thing that you need to remember. Because most people, what they will do is they will talk about the thing that they're passionate about, that they want to do, and then they will get 3/4 of the way through, and then they'll be like, I don't know where I'm going with this. And they'll start to naturally recap all the things that they've just said. Yeah, so like I said, next Tuesday at 8 o'clock if you want to come down. And people just wrap up by just redoing all the things that they've done.
Yeah.
So if you have a one line that is your outline, which could be as simple as, so if you're keen on getting more of those, do this.
Yeah. It's just like a call to action. Messages, call us, subscribe, follow us for more, that kind of stuff.
Possibly, but I do get a bit of an ick with too many call to actions, because I think sometimes people will get to the end of a video or end of some marketing and then think, oh, they just want me to use them.
Yeah.
And I try and not, I do occasionally, but I try and not call to action at the end too much.
Yeah.
I try and just help people.
Yeah.
Because the way that it works for me, like in a business sense, the way that it works for me is that the old 80-20 rule that I'm sure most people watching this will be aware of, 80% of the people that I talk to will never give me any money.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I'm fine. I'm not after money from people. I just want to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Because naturally, 20% of those people will go, you know what, Darren, I can't be bothered doing it. Can you just do this for us?
Yeah.
And the answer is, if you're a decent, nice person, then yes. If you're going to give me grief, then no.
Yeah.
But if we can go down this journey together and have a laugh and have fun and do it, then yes, of course I can. Yeah. That takes care of itself.
Yeah.
So I'm never trying to sell anything to anybody.
It's relationship marketing.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing that we do all the time. It's just about getting to know new people. Because sooner or later, somebody's going to go, actually, I know somebody who you should talk to.
That's it. It deals with itself. That thing just deals with itself.
Yeah. You know what you're saying about answering the questions that people are asking? It just reminded me of this book.
All right. I don't know that one. Yeah.
They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. And what he does, and I've met Marcus, he's a really good guy.
Nice.
Manic, he's a mad American. And he, basically what you said, he was a pool guy. He had a pool business.
Yeah.
And he grew that business remarkably. And all he did was make a list. Every time somebody asked him a question, he'd write it down, and then he'd do a blog when he got home about that particular subject. So everything that everybody was asking, he was answering before they'd even asked him. So whenever somebody was searching for on a search term on Google and saying, who were the top this, or how do I get one of these, or what do I do about this, his website would be the first website that came up every time. Now, he wasn't using video, but he advocates the use of video now as well in those blogs, because video is, for a lot of people, is the way forward. Yeah. And he said, you don't need to be perfect, you don't need to be great, you don't need to be polished, because people want real life. They don't want polish sometimes in the videos. They want to see that you're real. Yeah. So They Ask, You Answer. It's the easiest way to do it, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So any other top tips that you can give us for camera use or anything like that? Lighting, or like you see, I have to say thank you to Darren, actually, because he did come in before I started these podcasts and gave me a few tips and ideas on what to do and how to do it, and actually had to play around with the cameras to get them set so they actually recorded properly. So I couldn't do this without Darren, to be honest. Thank you,
well,
Darren.
You're very welcome.
So anything else that you can give us in terms of just people getting started on the journey?
Yeah, so I always say, just use your mobile phone and get started. Yeah. Because one of the questions that I get asked most is, what camera should I buy? And the answer is generally, how much money have you got? And what do you want to do with it? Yeah. Because the truth is, what most people want is they want a video presence for their company, for themselves, online. And they then, sometimes I've seen this, people get bogged down in buying all of the kit and then looking at it and going, oh my God, I don't know how to use this kit.
Yeah. Well, I'm guilty of that. You know that phrase, all the gear, no idea? That'd be me.
We've all done it in different respective things, haven't we? Yes, yeah, exactly. So I would just say, just pick your mobile phone up and point it at yourself and record some stuff. When I do my social media videos, and I'm LinkedIn, I don't do any other social media because I've found that it is totally pointless. I'm B2B for everything. I don't use any of the cameras that I've got. I use my mobile phone because it's in my pocket. Even I can't be bothered getting a camera, setting it up and taking it outside. Yeah. I will just go for a walk. I'll have a list of things that I want to talk about, each individual videos, and I'll go out and I'll just walk and talk. Yeah. The only one thing that you really need to be very aware of is the audio. And that is, if you're walking about outside and it's windy, then everything like that, which is never good. Yeah, so you need to just go out on a non-windy day or don't do it. Yeah, but really, that's the only thing that would stop me just using my phone filming outside if the wind is blowing across the microphone.
And you can buy a little sort of wireless mic that's got a little wind fluffy cover on it, can't you, if you want to?
For £10 on Amazon or wherever, you can get something that plugs into your USB-C on a cable, plugs to there. And the reason why I'm saying those other than the other ones is that it's that simple. Yeah. It's in your pocket like some headphones. You plug it in, you clip it there, you talk. Yeah. I'm constantly trying to remove barriers for people doing this. I'm not going to say buy this, buy that. I'm just saying just do it. Yeah. Just do it as simply and as easily as you possibly can. Because once you've done 10 or 20 of them, you're then like, oh, I'll have a look at a camera or I'll have a look at doing this. That's fine. Let's chat. But to start off with, it's... Yeah.
So timing-wise, 30 seconds to a minute max?
Possibly, yeah. If you can get everything in 30 seconds, then you're on a winner. Yeah. A lot of my videos that I post on LinkedIn can go up to the 2-minute mark. But I find that if what I'm talking about is interesting enough, and I think that the people that watch my videos are watching them because they actually want to know how to do a specific thing, then I know that most people will stick around for a couple of minutes. If I start to go 2.5, 3 minutes, you're asking a lot from somebody. Yeah, but if you can get it 30, 60 seconds, that's the golden area, really, for getting a good social media. But don't worry if it's too long. It's a bit longer.
And it's funny because just taking my phone out and recorded loads of stuff now over the last 2 or 3 years. And we talk about it all the time internally with Action Coach, just get out and do some stuff. And I've recorded stuff where I've been out walking, out of breath, sweaty, heat, breathing really heavily, walking up a hill and recorded a video about something. And those videos have got more views and more engagement than me sitting at a desk giving somebody some really brilliant business context and content. And it's me just heaving halfway up a hill.
Yes.
So there's no rhyme or reason to it. Just get out and do it. Some will catch, some won't.
Yes.
And
the ones that feel less scripted and more natural, especially when you're outside walking, because your background is constantly changing. You're not forcing your viewer to look at a static screen where you are the only thing in it. Yeah, because that puts a lot of pressure on you, and it puts a lot of pressure on the viewer to get all of their entertainment from your face. Yeah. But if you've got hills and trees and stuff moving, you've donated a percentage of that to them, which means that you can relax a little bit more, knowing that if you're pausing, there's still stuff for people to look at, which is not the same if you've got a white wall behind you. Yeah. Because every single pause, every single breath is accentuated massively, and it puts more pressure on the person doing it because they know that they have to do it, which is a cycle that sends you right down. And you end up just tripping up and things go bad. I always do my stuff outside because it gives me time to think, and I can be more natural, and it doesn't matter if I forget something because I'll just pause and think about it, and the trees can entertain people whilst I'm thinking. And that's genuinely how it works.
Okay. Time's moving on. It's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed talking to you, Darren.
It's been good.
We always ask a couple of questions before we finish. The first one is, if you could offer your younger self some advice while you were maybe just getting into your career and stuff, or to other younger people who maybe don't know what they want to do, because I was the same as you. I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do when I left school. I got put into boys' subjects at college, did that, came out of there, got offered a place at university, didn't go because I didn't know whether I'd had enough for studying. And my career has just evolved over time. Just walked from one thing to another and just applied myself as hard as I can. If you could offer a piece of advice to a younger person now, or to yourself in your younger days, what would it be?
The one piece of advice that I think is the best piece of advice ever is trust your gut. Every single time I have made a decision that I've done because I think I should do it, because I'm like, it doesn't feel right, but I really should do this because of this business reason or whatever, has always gone wrong. Every single thing where deep down inside I've gone, no, that doesn't feel right. And I've just gone, no, ignore that, just plow on, do this. It always goes wrong. So these days, if I get a bit of a weird feeling about something, I really listen to it. And if I'd have done that many years ago, I would have saved myself losing tens of thousands, if not maybe hundreds of thousands of pounds over the lifespan of this 23 years of business, of stupid mistakes that I've made. But then again, those mistakes take you to where you are, don't they? I think we all have to do them. So, I would say to myself, trust your gut, Darren.
We are the sum total of our life's experiences, aren't we?
Absolutely.
They make us who we are.
Yeah.
And just finally, are there any particular people that you follow, any particular books that you've read, or podcasts or whatever, or anything that you watch or listen to that you'd recommend for an audience out there?
I've read a lot of the books that you've read, that you've spoken about as well, the Napoleon Hill one that you mentioned before, and there are a number of those. I read them in the sort of maybe kind of COVID times when I was coming out of the liquidation and resetting and restarting myself and getting myself going. The honest answer is that right now, I feel like I've reached a place where I don't want somebody to steer me in a different direction. So I have purposefully stopped reading them because the knowledge that I've picked up by reading them is resonating around my mind in a way that is very helpful. So I don't want to nudge anything the wrong way, which may sound ridiculous, but it might. I've finally, after so many years, got myself in a position where I'm really happy with everything. And it's taken 26 years of being in this business to do it. So the people that I respect and admire are the people that I talk to when I'm networking, people like yourself, people like the people that we all know, the business owners, the people that have experiences. And when you get the chance to just have a chat with people, those bits of advice and those moments are really special. And so I would say probably those people that we spend time with.
I'd say on that, I'd say the environment shapes us, whatever environment we're in, whether it's the physical environment or whether it's the people that we surround ourselves with. And the one piece of advice I'd always give everybody is surround yourself with people who are going to pull you up, not pull you down or hold you down.
Absolutely,
And there's plenty of those people around there. And if you come across somebody who isn't doing that, then move away, step away and find somebody who's going to help you up.
Yeah.
Darren, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in and see us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.